Hey y'all, welcome in. We are Barry and Allison Bales here at Bales Farms, and you are happily enjoying the start to sort of a hybrid of our little series known as Front Porch Conviviality. It's raining today and it's coming out of the south, and so it's blowing in on the porch. So we're still outside, we're on the barn porch. But we're in front of the fireplace, which during the wintertime, some of you may know, we changed our series to Fireside Conviviality. So we're kind of back and forth, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, doing the hokey pokey, so to speak. So welcome in. Thanks for joining us. Hopefully we'll provide you with a little entertainment, a little information, maybe a laugh or chagrin, if you will. Hi.
Hello.
Here's Allison, my wife. And we are out here doing what we do. And it's raining, and it's hard for me to believe this, but that I'm saying this, but we could use a little rain. Mm-hmm. It's been a little dusty. Mm-hmm. But it's nice. We'll take whatever we can get. Hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing well.
I hope you're doing well.
I am. Yeah, it's Saturday afternoon. My chores are done for the day. Marshall's out doing his chores, and we're just getting caught up on this. Mm-hmm. Part of our ritual here is having a craft cocktail of some sort, hopefully different every week. And what are you drinking today?
I am drinking basically a honeysuckle.
Well, hold it up where they can see it.
I'm drinking a honeysuckle with a twist of lime.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
What are you drinking?
Well, I am trying something new. I found a new recipe, a new take on an old drink. This is a Carthusian Sazerac.
Huh.
Whatever that means.
Well, cheers.
Cheers to you. Happy weekend.
Yes, happy weekend. So how's your day been?
Well, it's been good. It's been busy. I've been in the studio most of the day, catching up on recording projects. Been fortunate to have some folks send me some things to record on and get those finished and send back to them. They kind of piled up on me. So I was knocking those out today. And then I took a break and went and moved the cows and came back, and here we are.
Here we are.
What'd you do today?
Well, just the usual. I did have a good day, though.
Well, good.
Yes.
It's not over yet.
I know, but aren't you going to ask me why I had a good day?
Oh, why'd you have a good day?
Because
Sorry, I didn't read the script.
I saw, who did I see that always makes my day better? The very few times that I see her.
Mrs. Hewa.
Mrs. Hewa! Mrs. Hewa. So, everybody that grew up in Indian Springs in Tennessee will know who I'm talking about. But Mrs. Hewa, she was my kindergarten teacher, and she did teach me, you know that book, Everything I Needed to Know, I learned in kindergarten. Remember that book?
No.
It was a really good book. I'm sure many people have read it. It's a really good book, but it's about how truly everything we needed to learn, we learned in kindergarten. I mean,
The importance of the nap?
oh, wow, yeah. But also be nice, share your stuff. Every once in a while, let somebody go in front of you in line.
Right.
But anyway, so Mrs. Hewa she did teach me all the important stuff. She is a great, great person. And every time I see her, it makes my day better.
Well, good.
Yeah, she is so
We
sweet.
we should all strive to have that effect
I
on
know,
people.
to have such a legacy that when people see you, you go, oh, I'm so glad to see you. You know, like every time I see her, it's like, I'm so glad to see you.
That's awesome.
I know.
I'm just glad if people don't run away in the other direction when they see me.
I know, well, you know, and what a fabulous kindergarten teacher she was. Like,
Well,
she has
evidently,
had
to-
a really, really great effect on a lot of people. And I'm sure there are going to be lots of people who watch this and say, oh my gosh, Mrs. Hewa, I love Mrs. Hewa. So who was your kindergarten teacher? Not to put you on the spot, but surely you know your kindergarten teacher.
Nope.
You seriously do not know your kindergarten teacher's name.
No. I don't even know where I put my reading glasses.
But your kindergarten teacher.
No, I can remember first grade, second grade,
Okay, who's your first grade teacher?
Mrs. Williams. Can I remember third grade? Yeah, I remember third grade. I remember fourth grade, fifth grade. Of course, by sixth grade, you had a lot of teachers. Well, I mean,
I know, but surely you know them all.
no,
You don't know your teachers' names?
not in sixth grade.
Do you all know your teachers' names? I can tell you, I think almost all of my teachers' names. I think I
didn't
could
know-
tell you even the teachers that I didn't have. Like in first grade, I can tell you, I think all of the teachers that were teaching in first grade at Indian Springs.
It's kind of like books in the Bible. I can't necessarily name them all, but if you say something, if you say one, I can say yes or no, that was my teacher or wasn't my teacher.
Habakkuk?
Yeah, that was not my teacher. I'm not that old. So anyway, yeah, sorry. I mean,
That is terrible.
that's one of those things where I would normally say I didn't know there was going to be a test, but I was too busy with the other tests to remember all that stuff. I kind of purged as I went through. I'm not a model student. Sorry. Why am I in trouble on my own video? If I'd known it was going to be like this, I would have gone and done.
You would have looked in your
done somebody else's
pictures.
video.
You would have looked in your pictures to see who your teacher was.
We didn't have pictures. Matthew Brady was not available.
Who's Matthew Brady? Oh, the old guy that used to take
The Civil War photographer, yes. Yeah. What are they called?
the daguerreotypes. What do they call them?
Daguerreotype.
Okay, whatever.
The daguerreotype is one that doesn't make you look too good.
Somebody said that you shouldn't make fun of people if they mispronounce something because it means that they learned it from reading and they didn't learn,
I didn't make fun of you. I just
I know, but I
told
do.
you how it's
I
pronounced.
do. I'm like, gosh, I'm an idiot.
I mispronounce stuff all the time.
Oh, I mispronounce stuff all the time. Partly because, do you know some people do not talk like we do?
They.
Like sometimes people do not understand me. People from like New York State or something, like the Gibsons. Like sometimes we'll be talking and Eric or Lee will say, "What?" And I'll have to repeat myself.
No, they'll say, "Huh?"
I think I speak very plainly. Do you?
On more than one occasion, after saying just a few words, I have had many people think I was from England. Because it's evidently so different than. But, no offense, but.
It's pleasant to a person's ear.
Yeah, I have no desire to trade with those
You're
those
very
from
good
further
though.
north.
You're very good at different accents. You're like a chameleon that way.
No.
Yeah, you are.
No, and I tell you, I've studied that, or I haven't studied it, but I've made a mental note of it. A lot of times, a lot of people that I know that are good singers, like good lead singers, are really good at different voices.
Okay. Like who?
Well, Krause is good at it.
She is good at
Dan
different.
Sminsky's good at it.
I don't guess I've ever heard Dan not speak in his own voice.
Well,
Really?
anyway, we digress. Yeah, they don't. That's not something they do on stage a lot.
Why is it that people from England or from Australia, when they sing, they sound like us, but when they talk, they don't sound like us? Why is that?
That's a good question. Why does Mel Tillis not stutter when he sings?
I was just going to ask you. Stuff like that.
I don't know. Have to ask Buddy Cannon.
And James Earl Jones, I heard that he was a really bad stutterer.
I've heard that.
And then the way he got out of it was by acting, was by reading scripts. How is that?
You have to
don't
ask
know.
him. So what's news? What's new on the farm?
Well, we've moved the chickens out finally to the pasture.
You know-
out the egg mobile is deployed. It works wonderful. You did a great job.
Well, and I haven't. I've been meaning to do. I took a picture every day when I was working on that thing, and I've been meaning to do a time lapse on social media about that, and I just haven't got around to it yet because I wanted to deploy it and put it out there and make sure it didn't fall apart and explode before I did that. So hopefully this will be the catalyst that makes me go put that on social media, and you can see the metamorphosis of it from my little
Trailer?
body into the.
Specimen that it is.
Well,
a fine
I was trying
specimen.
to I was trying to think of some tie-in or some play on words to go with Taj Mahal.
You know, he built that for his wife.
Oh,
The
who?
Taj Mahal.
Oh, who? The blues guy?
What?
Taj Mahal.
Oh, the blue. No, not the musician.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, yes, it's deployed. Still, all the chickens are in training. Last night was the first night in probably a week that we didn't go out there after dark and crawl under the thing, catching the ones that are a little challenged in their learning abilities.
That's one reason that I wanted to go out super early this morning to see, if they were okay, and they were fine.
Well, I'm sure they were fine.
And there just seemed to be a few that hadn't gone up. So.
Yeah, Dutch would make sure they're fine. Anyway,
The brooder is now cleaned out from all them, and now
just barely in time to get it filled back up with fresh
meat birds.
bedding for
Yes.
the broilers that are coming next week.
Yes, a week early.
Yeah, a week early. Great. Because
And
I'm always so ahead of it.
and you're doing a great job with cattle.
Well, they're settling in. They're doing good. Yep.
Yeah.
So it's a busy time. It's springtime. Things are greening up. All the things that cause allergies are out and budding and blooming and blowing across the yard.
And I'm seeing still a lot of yellow still on the trees, so they haven't all released yet. So keep taking that Allegra or whatever you're taking.
Well, no, what did you get the other day?
I know. Yeah, I do. I do have sumac syrup, pink sumac syrup, and I have that I got from the Johnson City syrup lady, and
We've got all
it's
kinds of
doing
sumac
great.
out here. Can I
Yeah.
just go
No, I
gnaw
don't
on it?
think. No, I don't think so. I don't think that will give you the desired effect.
Okay. Well,
Yes, you
bummer.
have to take this.
Okay. Well, should we get into a question or two?
Sure. We had a question. What is one piece of advice that someone gave to you
Oh.
that has helped you?
That's pretty broad.
And they did well. They said in business, and they didn't
Well, that's
specify if it's music or farms.
that's the problem. That's my main problem is nobody's ever given me any business advice, and so I'm having to try to figure it all out on my own. It took me a long time to realize that for a major portion of my life, I was in the music business. But the only thing I ever studied my whole life was music. I never studied business. And in hindsight, I'm not complaining at all because we're very blessed, very well taken care of. We've had a great life. When you don't know what you don't know, it's real easy to get taken advantage of, particularly as a musician, because the deck is stacked against you. Particularly as a sideman, studio musician, if you're Carrie Underwood or whatever, you've got people.
Beyonce.
You've got people that are checking all the whereases and the therefores and all
Right.
that kind of stuff. But when you're kind of off by yourself, you don't know. And when you start out and you're young and naive, you think, well, everybody else is as concerned about my interests as I am, surely.
Right.
So I'm still learning about business, and particularly now that in the last few years, as the farm has grown and gotten bigger, I'm learning more and more about business, particularly marketing, particularly about customer service. There's so many parts of it, and I wish I'd had more people to give me business advice. And I honestly can't think of one piece of advice that I got where somebody sat me down and said, okay, here's what you need to know. It's all been learned the hard way.
So what advice would you give to someone? Let's say someone is in school say someone's going to ETSU, they've got a good bluegrass program, or in school somewhere for business. What would you say to them? Or in school, not necessarily for business, but just for studying music or studying physical therapy or studying engineering?
Well, excuse me. One thing that I will say, and I have to sort of meld these two, or as Jerry Clower used to say, I have to try to homogenize these 2 points. On one hand, I grew up and was taught, be a man of your word. If you look somebody in the eye and shake their hand and tell them you're going to do something, then you dang well better do it. On the other side of that, business is business. And so, as such, you should not feel bad about making sure all the bases are covered, making sure, if you need to get something drawn up and signed, if you need to get somebody else to come in and look at it, if there's money involved and it's business, then do your due diligence. There should be no hard feelings if somebody says, well, trust me. And then if you decide you don't trust them, or you want to go a little beyond that and have it in writing or whatever, do it.
Okay.
What would you say? You've had more experience with business than I have.
Well, I didn't know you were going to turn this back around on me.
Well, see how it is? Doesn't feel good, does it?
I would say one piece of advice that someone gave me that was it
Mrs. Hewitt?
No, she taught me things like be a good person, stand up straight.
Don't pee in your pants.
I didn't pee my pants in kindergarten.
Bragger.
No, we did not. But I was in this entrepreneurial group, and one of the pieces of advice that came out, and I guess I would share with people, is don't go into business with a friend. Like don't have a partnership.
What about your spouse?
That's even worse. But don't go into business don't form a partnership with a friend. Like wait until, one thing that I would say, and one thing that we did. Wait until you hate each other? No, what I was going to say is, instead of having to have somebody come along beside of you to share the bills, work at your job until you have enough money to start your whatever you want to start, your second job, or have a side hustle while you're still working your job and grow that. And that's one thing that I think we did well, is that we haven't, knock on wood, there's no wood around here, we haven't taken any debt. Like, we have worked really hard and we have grown slowly and we have done it.
And done without.
Right. And probably grown a lot slower than most people would.
Oh, sure.
But we praise Jesus that we didn't have debt hanging over our head when March 2020 kicked in, because that would have been hard. Because I think now people can say, it used to be, you didn't even think about the global economy shutting down. And it did. And so that is one piece of advice that not necessarily was given to us personally, but that's a weird Dave Ramsey people, and that's
Well,
one thing that he says.
And I think we were kind of raised that way long before anybody ever heard of Dave Ramsey. Mom and Dad, their mantra was, if you don't have the money for it, don't buy it.
Right. Right.
So.
Yeah. So there you go. That's the.
All right. Well, that was pretty
question.
heavy. Do you have any fun questions?
Well, we went over our drinks, and those will be up on I'll put those up on the blog.
Boy, sorry, we're not very deep.
Well, I think, 20 minutes, people probably are like, oh,
All right, one more question.
End?
One more question, if you can think of one, and I'll give a quick answer.
Okay. Most fun place to play. That's one that comes up is where's your favorite venue to play?
And that's a hard one because...
Now, you said you were going to give a quick answer.
I know. I'm going to try my best to do it quick. On one hand, when you're a professional traveling musician, you see the inside of the bus, you wake up, you either go into the hotel or you may already be at the venue, so you're parked, the bus is parked in the worst possible place at the gig. Like if it's, it's probably in the back next to the dumpsters. So.
And this is something that people, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I don't think that you realize that, like, people like me, we think it's all glam.
No, there's no Delta Sky Club back there that we park in and
people
the
giving
red
you
carpet.
massages on your feet.
No. I mean, there's festivals that cater to artists, and you really appreciate those. One that comes to mind is Meriwether Post in Maryland, which, a little piece of trivia, that's where the live version of Jackson Browne, Running on Empty, was recorded.
Oh, okay.
But they have
Is that a whole record or is that a song?
I'm sure they did a whole record, but I
just heard that song.
Like, WQT plays that song. I mean, you've heard it.
Right.
David Lindley playing.
You want me to sing it?
No.
Okay.
Maybe later. So yeah, most of the time it's not glamorous until you get to the dressing room, and then it's 50-50, depending on the venue. The aforementioned Meriwether Post has really upgraded in the last few years. They've got a swimming pool backstage.
Backstage?
Backstage.
Inside?
No, outside, but back in the thing.
In ground or above ground?
In ground. You can get a massage backstage.
I'm going to go to this place.
And then the one that always wins all the awards is I can't think of the name of it because...
Is that the one with the canoe?
Yes, it's in New Hampshire. It's at Lake Winnipesaukee, and they have a corporate name, a sponsor, the New Hampshire Pavilion. I'm sorry, I can't think of the name of it. But anyway, it's the one there at Lake Winnipesaukee. And it's outrageous. It's awesome. But then there's other ones where you wake up right next to the dumpsters, like at casinos and things like that, and you got to, like, tour managers, it's almost a full-time job for them to go through some of these venues. They're the first ones out of the bus. It's almost a full-time job for them to go through posting arrow signs. All traveling groups have signs saying, dressing room this way, catering this way, whatnot. And a lot of times they'll put tape on the floor with arrows. And I mean, some of these places, that's a real expense as far away as it is and as much as a maze as a lot of these backstages are. So,
yeah,
let me try to get into this quickly. So then you see the dressing room. Some of them are nice, some of them are not so nice, some of them are in the middle. Then you come backstage before you walk on. Then you walk on stage and it's pitch black and you see a bunch of lights. Then you get done. You go back to the dressing room, you change, get on the bus, go to the next place. That said, it seemed to me some of my favorite venues are Wolf Trap in Virginia, outside of D.C., any of the Fox theaters, Atlanta, St. Louis, Detroit. Theaters like that particularly the ones that have a little bit larger capacity. You know, most theaters around the country of that type are 1,000 to maybe 3,000 seats. I think the Fox theaters probably hold more like five plus. So it's a very intimate setting, but yet you've got enough bodies and enough energy and enough applause and whatnot that it really gets really cool. So yeah, that was a long, short answer, but I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Well, thanks.
All right, so,
Okay.
well, cheers. Thank you for joining us. Email those questions to us at balesfarmstn@gmail.com, or you can hit us up on Facebook or Instagram.
Or Twitter, although we don't really check it too much.
I'm hardly ever on Twitter. I can only keep up with so much.
Oh, it's so negative.
It has its place, but
It does.
yeah, I'm a consumer of Twitter. So anyway, thanks a bunch. Y'all have a super weekend and a great next week, and we will see you later. Goodbye.